Less than 24 hours ago, I did a video talking about how the Tampa Bay Lightning had made some moves, and the Florida Panthers had made some moves, and the Boston Bruins had made some moves. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been so quiet. We haven't heard anything, and we're like, man, we've heard some rumors, we've this and that, but nothing being done. Well, this afternoon, the Leafs changed that. Not only do they send Travis Dermott to Vancouver for a third-round pick to get rid of some salary and open up a roster spot, because they acquire Mark Giordano, 38-year-old Mark Giordano on an expiring contract from the Seattle Kraken, and Colin Blackwell for 2 second-round picks and a third. Leafs Nation, I know people hate Dubas, but I'm reading on social media, a lot of people are saying WWW, all that stuff, which, again, as of right now, it looks pretty good. And people are going to say, well, Mark Giordano's 38, what can he really do for you? Well, we'll get into that in a second. But let's get to the specifics. So Giordano's salary has been 50% retained, obviously, for the Leafs to be able to be under the cap. And they bring in a depth guy in Colin Blackwell, a depth center. He's been playing a lot with Seattle this season. I think he's like 17 points in like 30-odd games, something like that. So he hasn't been bad. But the Leafs get Giordano. That's the big part of the deal. Now, what do they give up? Obviously, 2 seconds and a third. 1 second in 2022, so this upcoming year. A second in 2023. And a third for 2024. Leaf fans, let me put it to you this way. The Leafs gave up 2 seconds and a third for Giordano. That is less than what Florida gave up for Ben Sherratt. Like, take that in for a second. It's pretty wild. The Leafs did not have to give up a first-round pick. They didn't trade any prospects. They traded the seconds and thirds, which I'm totally fine with. And you bring in Mark Giordano. People are going to be like, well, Mark, again, he's 38. What's he going to actually bring to your team? Well, if you look, and if you're a smart hockey fan, and you look at his actual defensive metrics, because who the hell cares if he has points? Like, honestly, if Leaf fans are going to sit here and say, well, the guy only has 17 points in 60 games. The guy is useless. He's just old. Well, that's a fan. That's a casual, for one thing. That's somebody who doesn't know their hockey. Because do the Leafs really need a guy who's going to be a point per game in the back end, but be abysmal defensively? No, that's the total opposite of what we want the Leafs to do. And if you look at Mark Giordano's metrics, and I read this on Twitter, he is posting elite defensive metrics in many different ways. Yeah, the points aren't there. He isn't putting up, point per game numbers like he did in his Norris Trophy winning season in 18 and 19. But defensively, the guy has been rock solid on a team in Seattle who can't keep the puck out of the net. So that's telling you right there, damn, he's just in an awful situation right there in Seattle. Now, the Leafs D-core, I'm not sure how much better it is, but you're coming to a contending team now, and the team, look, we got to admit, the D-core is a lot better than Seattle's. I mean, it's not saying much, but it is what it is, right? And you bring him to a familiar face in TJ Brody, and interesting enough, you might be able to plop him with Morgan Riley a little bit. I don't know. That might be a really interesting fit. Do you plop him with former teammate TJ Brody, who know each other like the back of their damn hands? There's a lot of differing moving parts, and oh, by the way, he's born and raised in Toronto. He wants to come home, which is great. We've heard that with Spezza and Simmons and Tavares, and it's great. But it hasn't amounted to a second-round appearance. But it's nice to see a guy come home. And when his defensive metrics is all Leaf fans care about right now, we don't give a damn. He can have no goals, no points in 65 games or whatever, 60 games. But if this guy is grade A elite defensively, I'm all for it. And I wouldn't say Giordano is, grade A elite defensively. But he's still posting ridiculous numbers. So yeah, you're not getting a guy who's going to come in and be a point per game player. You're not, and don't expect it. But you're bringing in a vet who wants to be here, who is basically best buddies with TJ Brody on the ice. I don't know how they are off the ice and whatnot, but they basically know each other like crazy. You know, and who knows, the Leafs might not be done yet, right? Who knows? We've heard Luke Schen's name around, Jacob Middleton's. Again, those are guys that could be depth defensemen. I would kind of like Luke Schenn, though. Big body, right shot. You know, to me, the Liljegren's been great, but there's been a lot of turnovers, a lot of bad pinching, and you know you wouldn't get that from a Luke Schenn. So, but for Giordano on that side of things, guys, look, I was so scared a first-round pick was going to go. I was so scared that, you know, Matthew Nice, basically our best prospect other than Nick Robertson. I was so scared that one of those things were going to happen. But those were shot down pretty quick from, who was it? Shannon? Shannon? I can't remember who it was. He basically said that would not happen. That is not going to happen. He is not in the trade. Then Darren Dreger comes out and he's like, okay, well, it's multiple draft picks. And I'm like, well, if the Leafs are stupid, they would trade a first and more. But that made me feel, okay, it's not a first and you're not trading away, you know, your couple best prospects. Okay, so it's got to be less draft picks. And it was 2 seconds and a third. Like, if anybody's mad at this trade, you're nuts. It does nothing but make your team better. Now, how significantly better does it make you? Well, I don't know. And you're still in that goaltending situation where you just don't know what to do, right? And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they still have work to do. Kyle Dubas has work to do. He's probably still on the phone trying to figure things out. Like, this doesn't not getting Mark Giordano, though, does not say, okay, defense is fixed, because it's not. I mentioned in the video last night, it is not a one-player fix. But you bringing in a Mark Giordano definitely makes your decor better. Can you imagine? Jake Muzzin comes down the stretch, gets healthy, and comes back to form from last season. And then you have Giordano as well. I mean, this decor might look a lot different then. Like, a lot different. But those are all ifs, right? Is Giordano going to fit with the Leafs? Is Muzzin going to come back? Is Muzzin going to come back and healthy? These are all ifs, ifs, ifs. And you can't rely on that. The goaltending situation is still a crazy problem the Leafs have. And do they address it by tomorrow? I don't know. I really don't know. I hope they do. As much as Shelgren's been fine, you know, and they waived Peter Mrazek, which is crazy. But I mean, good. You know, it's been a wild day for Leaf fans, right? You see Mrazek get waived, and you're like, whoa, that's kind of intense for a guy you just signed in the offseason, making nearly $4 million for 3 years. That's insane. You know, and then you see, then we obviously hear the Giordano trade, and then he's coming to Toronto. We're like, great. We wait for at least an hour to figure out what the heck's coming. What are we giving up? You know, and then in the meantime, you hear Travis Dermott's getting traded, and we're like, whoa, okay, this is a lot going on here. Then we find out what the Leafs trade for Giordano, plus they get Colin Blackwell, and we're like, oh, that's not that bad at all. Now, how will it amount in the future? We will all wait and see. But from the paperwork, from what we're seeing, the metrics from you know, Mark Giordano, the draft picks and how they're spread out over 3 years. You didn't just trade away, you know, all this year. Actually, I don't even think they really have many picks this year. They have their first, though. And, you know, yeah, you spread it out. It's not like you're just destroying yourself for one season, right? You kind of spread it out, a third here, a second here, a second there. And it's like, okay, that's not too bad. But the thing for the Leafs now is put the damn product on the ice. And that's what we all as Leaf fans want to see. You don't play till Wednesday against Jersey at home. And that ain't no measuring stick game at all. But Giordano will probably be in the lineup by Wednesday. It's only Sunday and he just got traded. And he's from Toronto, so it probably won't take him very long to get here because he's probably pumped. You got to figure it out. And I'm not saying he's going to come in here and just kind of sort everything out and we're all good to go. But in my opinion, guys, I truly believe that this guy, because he's been taken in, this guy in Seattle, again, still with these elite defensive metrics, was playing over 20 minutes a night. 21 minutes and 29 seconds per game in Seattle with a terrible team in Seattle, terrible defensive team in Seattle, but he's putting up elite defensive stats. You can't sit here and tell me he can't play with Morgan Riley or even TJ Brody for that matter. He's going to be in your top 4. And imagine when Muzzin gets healthy and he's all good. He's just hoping everything's okay. A lot of things can change for the Toronto Maple Leafs like that, but they're all ifs. All right, Leaf Nation, I'm going to leave you all with that. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments below. But look, as of right now, right as the trade has gone down, we figure out what we're giving up, what we got. I love the trade. I love Giordano coming to the Leafs. Look, it's obviously a rental contract, but again, he's at the tail end of his career. Is he really going to want to he's not going to want to raise maybe 6.3 or whatever it was, for Seattle. So it's not like he's going to want that again at 38 years old. Who knows, maybe 39 by the contract or whatnot. So he might bring him back on a smaller contract if things go well. I don't know. So I wouldn't close the door on everything on Giordano, coming back next year and whatnot. But again, Leaf fans, you got a guy who can play defense, actual defense, in big roles. First line deep pairing, he play penalty kill, he can do power play. Again, maybe not the power play because the Leafs have quite a few weapons for that. But it's going to be very interesting how they kind of put this all together with Mark Giordano. And I'm just hoping the Leafs are not done because they still need work. We can talk about, the top six forward. No, I don't care about a top six forward. Keep the damn puck out of the net. Whether it's a goal, whether it's another defenseman, get something. Dubas, as of right now, on paper, big W. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out over time. But on paper, looks really good. All right, so Leafs fans, that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you liked the trade for the Toronto Maple Leafs, even if you don't like the trade, smack the like button anyways. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not already. Comment down below thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game, or on the trade. What do you like? What do you not like about the trade for the Toronto Maple Leafs? The Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to like great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Jays edition on Wednesday as I'll be wrapping up this past week's games. The Jays lay a beatdown on the Pirates today, and Matt Chapman goes deep. You gotta love to see it. You love to see it. And Kirk goes deep again. Incredible stuff for him. And for the Toronto Raptors, they play tonight against Philly, 8:30. No Freddie. Oh, God. We'll see what happens there. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're back in action on Wednesday against the Devils. It's probably a 7 o'clock puck drop at Scotiabank Arena. Giordano will probably be in the lineup then. And who knows? We may have another face as a Toronto Maple Leaf. If anything does happen, though, I'll be here. All right? Dermott gets traded for a third. Giordano and Blackwell come to the Leafs. Giordano 50% retained for a second for 2022, a second for 2023, and a third for 2024. All right? So hopefully I'm talking to you guys very shortly about something else happening with the Leafs. All right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and liked the trade. We'll talk to you guys then.